So to all of you watermelon supporters out there that keep blaming Israel that are committing a genocide in Gaza, watch this video. Next time that you say the word genocide, just remember this. This is how real people who just survived the genocide attempt look like. So many of them, they're just an empty shell of themselves. Probably, imagine you just lost everyone you know. Everyone. Killed in the most horrific way, simply for being a Jewish. This is obviously remade images, you know, they added color to it to make it look. So we can see it better how it probably looked like. So this is how an actual nation that survived the genocide looks in the day after, when the Allied forces, when America came and freed them. Not like this. Not like this, not like, where is it?
Just like all the other genocides, the Holocaust.
The next time you hear someone telling you that, oh, Israel is committing a genocide on the Palestinians, show them this video from The Princess Bride.
Inconceivable! You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Now, there's another very powerful video I want to share with you.
אהלן סבתא, מה קורה?
הכל בסדר.
רציתי להגיד לך, אני בדיוק מתכונן פה לטיסה ואנחנו הולכים לעבור מעל הבית שלך. אם את רוצה לעלות לגג, תוכלי לראות אותי.
טוב, בהצלחה.
ביי.
ביי.
Imagine, this is a woman that survived the Holocaust, that have seen the most horrendous and wicked deeds any man can do to another man. Probably till October 7.
הייתי בת 8 וברחנו לפני הפגזה גרמנית, שכבנו בשדה תפוחי אדמה, והמטוסים של גרמנים ירו בכל דבר שזז. היום ראיתי נכד שלי במטוס ישראלי.
Lisa is an 89-year-old Holocaust survivor. She fled Poland when she was 10 years old. Her grandson, Lieutenant A, is a pilot in the Israeli Air Force. When he protected Israel, he protected her.
אני מרגישה גאווה ממנו, אני מאוד מתרגשת.
You know, that moment when she kind of rests her lips on her hand and just close her eyes. I think that was such a real, rare human moment where you can see probably the emotions that were going through her eyes, outliving the Nazis who tried to genocide her or killed her family, having their airplanes coming and trying to bomb them, having their SS soldiers trying to wind them up and exterminate them in the gas chambers, and then surviving all of that and witnessing that her grandson right now is an Israeli IDF pilot who is protecting her. And I think in many ways that is one of the greatest victory that the Jews had over the Nazis, over anyone that came to destroy them, and that is success. Continuing life, bringing children that will bring more children, not like we're seeing in Palestine and Gaza, where they see the greatest victory is actually bringing a child so he can kill himself, so he can become a shaheed, and just glorifying death over and over. But I found it just such a beautiful story, and I wanted to share that with you. A few days later, after the Holocaust Memorial Day, but you know, when you're a father, and you have a beautiful, fun 5 years old, and you want to really invest time with him, sometimes you don't have the time that you would want to make the videos right on the spot, but I still decided I have to do this video. It's an important video. And even though we're 3 days later, I still want to share this. And I want to share with you another video that I think, personally, is probably one of the most important videos to ever been captured live. And this is this video. Watch it. In 1939, a young British stockbroker named Nicholas Winton saved 669 Jewish kids from Czechoslovakia during the Holocaust.
All the letters. But back here is the list of all the children. This is Vera Diamant, now Vera Gissing. We did find her name on his list. Vera Gissing is with us here tonight. Hello, Vera. And I should tell you that you are actually sitting next to Nicholas Winton.
And it was just so wonderful, so terribly, terribly touching.
That's the kind of heroes that we need today. That's the kind of role models for heroes that our society today need.
Can I ask, is there anyone in our audience tonight who owes their life to Nicholas Winton? If so, could you stand up, please?
Just imagine to be able to witness such a moment in your lifetime. Everyone in this room, everyone is alive thanks to him. And just imagine how many grandchildren. You, one of your viewers, might be a grandchild of one of these survivors, and it's all thanks to this man, one man. You know, that's the kind of that's the kind of heroes that we need today in our society. That's the kind of role models that our children, that our adults need to be like this man, not to be like Puff Daddy and I don't know what, and Yahya Sinwar and Osama bin Laden and these lunatics. Now here's why I think that this video is a very important video for everyone right now to watch, especially if you're living in the West. Because look at these images. Montevideo, Madrid. It's only been 80 years. Amsterdam, Montreal, London, Melbourne, Rouen, Tunisia. Well, I'm not surprised there. Istanbul. Jews are not allowed. Berlin, Bogota, London. Just the fact that in Germany, while there's still Holocaust survivors alive, living among us, anti-Semitism is allowing itself to rise its head again, and people who are just coming and calling for the same Nazi slogans that were called. Back then it was by the German Nazis, today it's by mostly the Muslims around here. The radical ones, I'm not saying all of them, but there's quite a lot of them, especially in the pro-Palestinian demonstrations, bluntly out in the open, calling for the extermination of the Jews, and the Germans are just falling for it. Not all Germans, by the way, but many. And what more concerns me more is that many are just remaining silent. I've went undercover to some of these demonstrations for the pro-Palestinians here in Germany and in England. And the things that I hear in Arabic is not always what you hear in your local language. And they've learned to master how to say the things that you like to hear, you know, social justice slogans, all kind of empty words and lies like apartheid, like take down the wall, you know, civil justice, freedom, equality, and they just throw these things because then it excites all this morally bankrupt dimwits, airheads that you see here, mostly students, and actually a lot of people from the queer community, which is surprising. Why would they support pro-Palestinians, knowing what they do to gay people in Palestine? But anyway, When they speak Arabic, they're clearly stating their intentions. Clearly, and I haven't heard it only once or twice, so many times. They're calling for the sea, they're calling for Intifada revolution, they're calling for the genocide of the Jewish people, they're calling for the down of the state of Israel. Actually, for that one, the Germans joined them. And remember, that was the point that I looked to my left, and I had a Jewish friend of mine that came, and he wanted to see with his own eyes. Because he told me something very, very interesting. When I asked him, why do you want to go to these pro-Palestinian demonstrations? You know what they're going to say. And he told me, Mansour, I'm not interested to hear what the pro-Palestinians want to say. I know what they want to say. It's always the same. They want to destroy Israel. They want to kill the Jews. What I'm concerned is what the Germans are doing about it. My great-grandfather was a Holocaust survivor. His entire family perished because they refused to leave Germany in time. Because every time when they saw Nazism rising its head and it's getting more and more and more and more hate and anti-Semitism toward the Jews, they kept saying, this is going to pass. It's just a trend. It's not going to get any worse than that, until they were rounded up and taken to these death camps and executed in the most horrific way. And he looked at me and he says, I have a wife and children, and I want to know if I should go and pack my bags right now and leave because Germany is repeating its same mistake. Never again, obviously was not taken as seriously. I would have hoped. In Germany, it's a little bit more serious than, in France, Belgium, Ireland, and all these pro-terrorism, countries, pro-jihadist countries right now. It's sad to say, but that's what it is. It's becoming pro-radical Islam jihadist countries full on. There's no other way of looking at it. So yeah, London, I've been there. I've seen it with my own eyes. It's not pretty. Anti-Semitism, I mean. London is a beautiful city, but they're going to lose it for these radicals. Toronto, New York, Los Angeles, Sydney, Toronto again, Maroubra. All right, interesting. Here is some reminder for today. The Allies refused to bomb Auschwitz train tracks. The ICRC described Nazi death camps as humane. The Vatican helped Nazis escape. Oh, that probably didn't look good for the Catholics. The UN condemned Israel for capturing Nazis. Now, these are the real thing. We will never be in the mercy of international communities again. And that's why living in Europe, living in Germany, I made it a point to myself. I'm just not gonna take an advice from someone who comes and tries to tell me about how we should run our affairs in Israel, while he is going and supporting pro-Palestinian modern Nazis. Literally, someone who cannot discern who are the genocidal jihadists under his nose. They're not even hiding it. Someone who cannot discern that, I'm just not gonna take him seriously. It's gonna be very hard for me to listen to any word that he has to say about politics or I don't know what. We can talk about, I don't know what, football. We can talk about fishing. But to listen to his ideas about politics and how to make the world a better place, are you nuts? You have literally Nazis living among you, calling for the extermination of the Jews, calling for enslaving your women, calling for marrying young girls, calling for supporting terrorists and jihad. And you want to come and tell me how we should do things in Israel. Like if we would listen to these kind of peoples, the West will be doomed in a day. You should not listen to these kind of peoples, and you have them in Europe, you have them in the US, you have them a lot in universities nowadays, especially in America and also here in Europe, which is quite crazy. So as the hostage deal is coming, I just want to remind you about this man here. His name is Mansour. So obviously I find myself relating to the name more because it's my name. But Hamas is still holding a Holocaust survivor, Shlomo Mansour, hostage. That man survived the Holocaust and he unfortunately had to witness another Holocaust attempt in his lifetime, and now he's been kidnapped by the same modern day Nazis that came and tried to destroy the Jews. And mind you and remind you, the only one that actually tried to commit a genocide, actually the only one that is trying to commit a genocide as we speak right now across planet Earth, are Muslims. In Sudan, in Africa, and many other places that are literally trying to genocide the Christians, and in Israel. They tried to commit a genocide. The only reason that they did not kill all the Jews is because the Jews didn't let them. And the problem with that, well, obviously, But the problem that concerns you or maybe your colleagues, and that's why I hope that you maybe share these kind of videos with them to a little bit open their eyes. The only reason that they use this terminology, genocide, apartheid, when it's obviously the furthest thing away from it. Trust me, I'm an Arab from the Middle East and I'm telling you this, I have the authority, I was there, I witnessed it with my own eyes and I can know what I'm talking about. The only reason that they use this terminology is because it's working on the West. Is because there is people gullible enough in the West to actually believe it. Like, how bad should you feel if one day you had like a Harry Potter Shazam verstaculus staff and you like hit it in the wall or I don't know what, and then suddenly all these college students like poof, have an epiphany and would realize, oh my God, we have supported this entire time the Nazis. And we have condemned this entire time the victims, the only victim in that story. Wow, this is mind-blowing. Like, I wonder how many of them, if you had that magic power to actually get them to see it clearly, how many of them would really feel bad about it? How many of them would regret? I don't think many. I think many of them genuinely, even if you confront them with fact and open their eyes, they just don't really have any more moral compass to help them like really ever figure out what the difference between good and bad. I don't know. Some do. And for those, I think it's worth fighting. For those, it's worth keep trying to educate, but just, seeing how things are looking. So thank you for sticking around. And as I always say, don't do anything stupid. In general, just don't do anything that I would do. And in general, you know what? I got a story for you. I have a good one. When I took a break from my military service, a good friend of mine, a German girl by the name of Karen Luling, called me and asked me if I'm willing to take part and be a leader in a team that is taking Jewish kids to meet with German kids, and they will come hand in hand and they would live together for 2 weeks at their houses, and then they will walk them to these concentration camps where they will walk hand in hand. And that was the name of that program, Yad B'Yad. And the whole idea was that you pair an Israeli Jewish kid with one day, hopefully with Palestinian kids. That would be a great idea. But with a German kid, and they will hold hands and walk in these concentration camps in Auschwitz and all these places, or these death camps, and help reconcile. And there was no intention here to blame each other, to hate each other. It was more the idea that we remember the past, but we look at the future. And I remember in Israel, when we were preparing for it, we called social workers, we did like all kind of workshops, and we had the Israeli kids, and we wanted to prepare them for the sights that they're about to see, and knowing that every person that walks, and I think every human should go once in his life to these concentration camps and just see them with his own eyes. And every human that go there, unless you're just pure evil, will have his breaking point. There will be a point while you're going through the tour that you're just going to stop and you're going to start crying, because the level of human wickedness and the level of the horror and the sorrow and the tragedy and despair is just so overwhelming that it just takes some time. Some is going to be in the beginning, some is going to be in a certain room with certain images. There will be a breaking point, and I had my breaking point there as well. I'm going to share that later. So we started telling these kids, to get prepared, et cetera, et cetera. It might be hard for them. Some of them are descendant of Holocaust survivors. And to my surprise, when we were walking in the concentration camps and we reached the gas chambers, and we were seeing the scratches on the wall, and we were seeing literally humans who wanted to cling to life so badly. Imagine, like, there's probably a mother there that she just got separated from her little kid because they separated them. And they didn't know they're going to die. They told them they're going to take you, I don't know what, do registration, showers, I don't know what. So she probably just realized that she's not going to go and see her little child, and she is not willing to give up on life. And that woman probably screamed with everything she had, hopeless, and just left her marks on the wall, scratched it. And you can see a human scratch on heavy concrete. So the level of suffering and death is just mind-blowing. And in that moment, I suddenly saw 2 German teams collapse. One boy, one girl. They just fell to the ground and they started crying. And to my surprise and admiration, I saw 2 Jewish kids running to them, hugging them, and telling them, it's okay. I don't hate you. Don't cry. It's not your fault. You didn't do that. And wow, in that moment, I saw the resilience and the strength of the Jewish nation. How they again and again choose life over death, choose forgiveness over hate. And the difference that you have between them into the Palestinians, the Gazans, who again and again choose death over life. And you have some mothers even telling you that the greatest thing they can do is just bring as many kids as possible so they can all become martyrs, shaheeds. That, the woman that I showed you in the beginning of the video, that's what she said. I'm not going to show you all of the video because YouTube likes lately to demonetize my videos whenever I show any piece of history that supports these kind of claims. So we're gonna leave it as it is. But anyway, that moment was something that will go for life with me. And also that brilliant, beautiful idea. Karen, if you're watching this video, I just want to tell you that I love you. I want to tell you that you are a hero. You're an amazing person. And the mark that you left on my life and on the life of many Germans and Jews will be with us forever. Not only with us, but with the children that will come. I'm going to tell my kid about it, and etc. And that's why I said in the beginning of this video, we need more heroes like Mr. Nicholas now more than ever. You need to be like this guy. Don't be like everybody else in the crowd. Be like this man who stood defiant in the face of tyranny, of evil, of populism, and he knew to stand his ground. Because I'm telling you right now, it's probably the easiest thing to go and join these pro-Palestine demonstrations. It's probably the mainstream to be in these campuses and to hate the Jews. Obviously, because you see these people, and I can assure you, I have a good nose for that. I have a good nose for who's a real fighter, who have a spirit and who's not. I look at these pro-Palestine Western demonstrators that are going, and I don't see anyone almost brave there. Anyone that you can say like, he's genuinely just a good, strong person. Most of them I just see like a flock, like sheeps, like ignorant, populist sheeps who just go with the crowd. And mind you, the majority of the world is not the Jews. They're the minority. They're the underdog. They're the ones who are fighting not to be genocide. They're the ones who have only one Jewish state, one, while the rest have 44, 42 Muslim countries, and I don't know how many hundreds of billions of Muslims are around the world. The Jews are less than 15 million worldwide. They actually haven't reached yet to the numbers that they had before the Holocaust. In Gaza, the population is growing. Even during this war, the population is still growing. So it is obviously, undoubtedly a lie that they're trying to tell you. There's no genocide happening in Gaza. And it's just a twist of the truth. Why? Because the Nazis, modern Nazis, radical Muslims that are trying to genocide the Jews, they're failing again and again and again. And they realize one of the ways that we can do is lie to you, to the Western viewers, and make you believe that there is a genocide there so we can come and do it. So with this, I'm going to finish for today. And I just wish you guys a good year to come. And I really hope that you will teach your children to never again. Actually, you know what? That's the last thing I'm going to say about this. When I was in Auschwitz, one of the most powerful images that I've seen was something that was written on the wall in one of the first rooms in the entry to that concentration camp. Those who do not remember history are destined to repeat it. Edmund Burke. So please, teach your children history. We are living in a generation that as we are talking, and the last Holocaust survivors are still walking among us, there is already people that are denying that the Holocaust ever happened. And people started even denying that October 7 happened while it was happening and while Hamas was literally live streaming himself doing it. So that shows you how accelerated is the moral bankruptcy of the generation that we're living in, and how important it is that we remind our children, doesn't matter if you're Jewish or not, actually especially if you're not Jewish, the importance of the lesson learned from the Holocaust. Stay safe and see you again.